Hello, welcome everybody, how are you? Bienvenidos a todos, ¿cómo están? Hello, Miguel Arcon, welcome. Okay, yes, this project is taking me too much time, but that's part of the process. Remember that the other thing here is that I am creating this this is my original design, so it will be like a little bit let's say like challenging, because when you are creating something, you are like doing you do something and then you don't like it and then you change it, and that takes time. That's why we're taking maybe too much time, but that's part of the process. And don't worry, I just do every project, and I'm happy when I finished with all the, let's say, like the guidelines that I define at the beginning, so I know that I am a better artist than before. But I am only comparing me with myself, so you can do that. You can do everything, but you have to practice. Of course that it will be easier for other people to do some things, but the only thing to do is practice a lot. Yes, I understand that, but if you want it, you take your time, take your time, and try to practice. I remember my first project that I was paid for, the first time that I earned money with 3D was when I was doing like an internship, something like that, but I was working in the administrative area of a company of I don't know how to say this, but the company that a company that like control the processes of exporting and importing goods in a country, something like that. It has nothing to do with 3D, and I was just doing that to cover like my to complete the hours of my career in the university. So I was doing that, and I just practiced in two projects. I just created two heads, one head. That was a Superman that I created, just one head. That was my first exercise, that I made that in ZBrush. And then I was calling to create a full a person, a real person with holding like a how can I say this, like a trophy, something like that. It was like a tribute for that person that was like the CEO of an important company here in my city. And I say, yes, I can do it. And I never did something like that before, because that was my second project that I was going to complete. And I complete that in maybe in the 3 months that I was doing the practices in the company. Every time after work, I returned to my home and I just started sculpting until 1 a.m., 2 a.m., I don't remember. And then I have to go the next day to work. And on weekends, I was the time that I have more time to do that, and I finish. I do a lot of things bad, but it worked. Fortunately for me, it worked. It was my first project, and I remember reading, like, when I was searching information about how to do some things and how to do other things in ZBrush, because as I already told you, I was completely new in the 3D area, and I was reading like messages on forums, on pages, on websites, like saying, I am like 5 years here and I cannot do something like this, or maybe if you want to do something like this, you have to make at least have 3 years in the industry, 5 years, something like that. And I was like, this is my second month doing this, or my first month, and I was, I think that I am not going to do that. But I decided, no, I know that I can do that, and I am going to do it. There is no other option. The other option is to say, no, I cannot do that, and say that to the person that called me to do the job. I have two options. I had two options in that occasion, and I decided to try it, and I finished. I don't remember ZBrush, but I had that in my previous computer, and I have an illegal version of the program, because here in my country you can get that. You can, just in case for you to know, Arcon and Miguel, maybe you live in the USA or on that kind of countries where you respect law and all those kind of things. But here in my country, we games, movies, music, apps, all of those things, even products, we have all like copies, like the copies from the copies from the copies. So I always it is common. I am saying that you have to do that. Now I don't do that, but in that time, okay. just to, but I was saying that I really want to do that, so I look for all the ways possible to achieve that. So the message is like, just try to do it, and don't, if this is not your main activity and you want to learn it for a hobby, even it is okay, just try it in your free time, and don't judge yourself for not having like maybe the level of other artists. And remember, I am not like an expert, a pro. I just know that I am better than yesterday, and I want to get some kind of level in. I don't know a lot of things, and if I want to learn that, I just try to learn from other artists, and I do it by myself. Or maybe that doesn't work for me, and I try different methods, and that's how you learn. So just do it, and if you want some help, maybe you can write that on the 3D channel on the server, on the Discord server. Okay, so let's continue here. And you have to, especially in sculpting, in general, in 3D, because now that I am working on the missile, remember the model that I showed you yesterday, I found a problem, but not in the modeling, just in the baking part. I found a problem, and now I have to try to find a method to fix that, and that's part of the process. It was because a modifier that I used, and I didn't pay attention to that, so I have to repeat some parts and find a solution for a little issue. But if I don't don't pay attention to that, and I continue. But I want, when I found something and I don't know why is happening that, I really want to find the answer. So I know with that, I think that I am getting new knowledge, and I am going to improve my skills. So I am telling you this maybe for you to motivate yourself, I don't know, and just do it. Okay, let's continue here. You have to also, you need a lot of patience here. Okay, here with the fingers we need to finish. Let's see if we can finish these fingers today. here, okay, remember yesterday that I told you that here, if you use your hand, try to use in sculpting, you have that is something that I do. I use my body as as a reference. So in this case, I am holding right now an object here with my hand. Of course, you cannot see that because I don't have my camera, but I am holding in the same position, and I can see that my fingers are applying pressure. And I told you yesterday that these fingers here, like the skin or the muscles or something like the name that you call it here in the fingers, are going like in this direction. Let me show you, like here, like the fingers are normally here, but because of the pressure it deforms like here. Okay, so why is happening that in this case? These fingers are a little bit challenging than the other ones, because the other ones just was in holding nothing, so you can complete that in an easier way, but here you are holding an object. And if you want to get more realistic results, you have to consider those aspects. So in this case, these fingers, these two fingers, this one and this one, the skin are going to this direction because the weapon, the weight of the weapon is going to this direction. Look, it is like going to here. And in the action, let's imagine that this is an animation, she's leaving like the weapon to fall slowly. She started holding the weapon like here, and she leave it like falling until she's going maybe here. Then she's going to grab it correctly, and then she's going to attack, something like that. That's what I imagine. But indeed, in this action, the force is going here, the weight sorry, is going in this direction, so the skin is going to move to that direction. And for these fingers, if you see your hand, it is going to be a little bit different, because these fingers are the ones that are like using more force to try not to completely fold the weapon. I don't know if you can imagine what I am saying right now. And for that reason, here the deformation is going to be a little bit different for these two fingers. Here two is going here, the deformation, but in these two fingers is going to be here in the in the other direction, or in both directions. So we can maybe like try to play with this one in both directions and this one in the other direction. That is what I am looking from my hand, and that's the explanation that I am saying to you. That what is happening. Of course that you can do it in the other way, but slightly. The only thing that is true in all the occasions that you have to consider in this example is that these two fingers are applying more force here to not let the weapon to completely force to the ground. So you can see your hand. This is going to, the deformation is going to be here in both ways, or maybe in the other way. That depends on how you are moving your hand, because that's what is happening here with organic sculpture, that your body is going to change a lot, and that depends on the action that your body is doing. So it is like a little bit complex, but and also that depends on what you want to project on your sculpture. In this case, I already gave you my explanation, but you can try in the other way, or you can try different things. That's what I am looking here, and that's what I want to show to you, to the people that see this figure. So let's start making all the changes here. Okay, first we have to adjust this because it is not good. Remember, Archon, I don't know if you are still here, and I don't know if you watched the previous streamings, but with this character we use bones to move to this pose. So I have to clean because at some part of the process I parent this to other parts of the model. So I have to clean that relationship. In this case, I'm going to clear and keep transformation, because sometimes if you clear parent, then it's going to return to the original position. Yes, I rigged. This is already rigged. I move. This is the final position. This is not going to change. And also, you have to consider that in sculpting, when you are using bones, it is going to be a little bit more difficult to move the character when you have a lot of polygons. Okay, so I already explained that to you. You can also use another method that is not bones and just parent with spheres. In this case, I place spheres on the joints, and then I just parent, and then move the spheres. And with that, I go to the position that I want. That is also a method that I use, and I show you that process on the first model that we created here on live streams, that was Goku. I showed you that because I used that when I sculpt some figures in Nomad Sculpt. When I was with no computer, I made some models in Nomad Sculpt in my iPad, and I applied that method because at that time I don't have bones in Nomad Sculpt, so I have to find a way to get to the position that I want. And I showed you that here in Blender. It is a little bit it takes you more time, but you can use it if you want, if you don't feel comfortable with bones in sculpting. In modeling and animation you have to use bones just in case. Okay, so I'm going to see again my references here. I already cleaned the parent right, just clear, and then I'm going to apply all transforms. All transforms. I am doing that because I'm sure that this is the final position for these parts of the body. Okay, so let's start changing that. You know what? Let me do this. Let me select this, and then I can work here in an easier way. Try to start working with low poly models, just like the one that I showed you yesterday. So you're going to be more confident than with other kind of models. And you can you have for what I trying to do with that problem is just looking for references for anatomy books, and I learned from that, and then I look at my body and try to replicate some poses and see how the deformation on the body are, so I understand how muscles work and how that the muscles are going to change when you move to a specific pose. So use anatomy books. I think that I'm going to share that to Discord, okay? The books that I have, and I use that as reference. Okay, here also let me check. I need to change this. Okay, I think that I have to change this one just because look at this. I have to move it a little bit down. And then fix the other side. Okay, I can see that this is a little bit bigger than the previous finger, so I was okay. And you're not going to learn the names of each muscle and all of that, but you're going to know, at least for me, that I am not good with names, but I know what I am looking at. Hello, welcome. Okay, here let me return, and then I have to change the deformation with this one, the base. Just in the base. All of this part. Also remember your finger here, the base is going to change, not that part. So you're going to see the difference between fingers. Okay, something like that. This is going to continue. No, like that. Very good, very good. Okay, now that we... here, this part is too much. Let me try to adjust this. I see that now. Look. Yes, yes. Okay, I think that I can use this to start making all the changes that I want. Okay, so we already have that. Let me add a subdivision surface 3. Copy the modifiers to the other parts. I do this so I can clean this. It is easier for me to clean this when I apply remesh, and only for this part because this already has a lot of polygons. I hold yes, but I like to work on all the details. That's what I do. I know that if you, because I'm going to render here, I'm going to render here, and I'm going to render here, and you're not going to see those kind of details like this one, like maybe here, but remember that I am doing this, or maybe here, this kind of details maybe you're not going to see, but I am doing this for 3D printing, so when you print you're going to look at all of these details, you're going to pay attention, so that's why I do all of this. This is for 3D printing. If it is only for rendering, then I just don't have, there's no need to try to work on those kind of details. Okay, so I'm going to join this, and again the same technique that I already showed you. Let me apply the transforms. Going to increase the value of this one with a scale. I know that I can do this, but hold and just apply that, but I don't know, I do it in this way. And I'm going to all transforms, sculpt mode. I see the level of faces that I already have. I like that level of faces. I already found the value that is, in this case, is 0.01 from previous fingers that I work on, and remesh, and it is close to the value that I want, so I can continue working with this. And I'm going to return here, then reduce again. You can do those, you just can do this, press and hold and just move it down, and then you can change the value. But I don't know why I do the other way. It is going to be easier for you to change all the values at once. Okay, now I have my finger where the level of polygons that I need, and I have to start working on this. Go to sculpt mode. Remember that the sculpting and modeling are two different processes. two different workflows. You have to consider that. Maybe you don't need to sculpt. If you are working on low poly characters, you don't need to sculpt your character. Also, Archon, if you are new, I know that my brush is activated in grab. Grab is to move, to hold something, like the name it is saying to you, to grab something and move it. But when I press shift, this is going to change to this brush that is called smooth. And let me show you. With a smooth you have these values, and a smooth is to do what I am doing, like to clean those imperfections of the. So I just also, you can see here the keys that I am pressing. And then let me deactivate this. This is symmetry. This model is not symmetrical, so there's no need for me to use that. And I use a smooth to clean those lines from the previous level of polygons. And then you just have to play with all the brushes that you want to get the final result. In this case, for your finger. So there is a mistake that I made when I start doing this. I thought that when I apply a lot of polygons to do more details here in my model, then I am going to have a better result. But that is not true, because your computer is not going to work very well. It's not going to handle all of that process. So you have to consider that. And if you look at AAA characters, in this case, for example, like me, you can see that my finger is a separated piece. So I am not considering the hand and the other parts, and that means that I can have like this perfect and smooth surface model. But if I join this to the hand, then it means that the polygons are going to distribute, something like that, to the whole piece. So you're going to have less, let's say, like resolution, something like that, to work. So you're going to not be able to add some details. For example, here I like to add some lines here to make it more realistic. But let's say that you join this to the hand and to the whole upper body, you are not going to be able to do that, because it is going to be very pixelated here, something like that. That is not the real word, but I am saying that to you so you can understand. That's why a lot of AAA characters have like this. It is very good when they have, like, for example, these pieces of armor, something like this, because they can divide, they can cut the model, and then they can work on all of those details. So it is better for them to have separated pieces so they can add more detail. Okay, so that's what I wanted to say to you if you are new here on 3D Sculpting. The same for the face and all of that. When yes, that is what you have to consider. I made that mistake when I was starting and add a lot of polygons, and my computer and the app just crashed. And I say, how can they create those kind of details for the models, for the faces? No. That's my first thought too. Of course, if you have a great computer with a good GPU and CPU, you're going to be able to add more polygons, but that is not the right way to do things. That is not the right way to do things. Yes, but that's part of the printing. How I call that process? The printed version. When I clean the model I prepare the model for 3D printing, and that is a lot of work. I don't show that here because you have to test a lot. For example, let me explain you very quickly. Here for 3D sculpting, because I am doing for the rendering, for the final rendering, I am not going to join this. All the pieces are separated. But for 3D printing, you have to join. You have to separate. You have to say, okay, I want my leg here, and then I want to leave my arm separated and all of that things. And you have to find a way to try to merge pieces and not to lose all the details that you already did for your model, because you're going to lose if you join this one with this one with this one with this one. You're going to lose. But it is not like you lose a lot. No, there are small details, but it is something that you cannot that you have to do. You're going to do that. There's no other way. But I don't show that because you have here to start thinking and say, okay, maybe let me add this one and then separate that, and then you press merge, and then you apply other modifiers to reduce polygons, and then you see, okay, I like it. Or then you you continue with other parts, and then you say, no, I don't like it, and I have to return to the original file and then start again trying to merge things. That's a very, very long process, and I don't show that because you're going to watch the screen here, because I am thinking on what to do, and I think that is not something that you would like to see. But I explain that to you always, what I do. Okay, let me fix this. For 3D modeling, it is also a very different way to do things. That depends also on the project. For example, you can join all the parts, but no, it is not going to. Also, that's other part of the problem with 3D modeling. That depends on how you're going to create your materials, your textures. If you want to do, for example, that for Marmoset or Substance Painter, I understand, because I never do that before, but I saw other artists doing that. They just export separated pieces, and then the retopology parts, they like also export that, and with pressing a click, a button, then they start like baking textures or something like that. Okay, in Blender it is like that, but you have to, at least I do that in a separate way. So I have to bake piece by piece, one by one. Then I join everything, then I create a full separate, then join but not merge, just join other pieces, and then I create a new texture for that group, trying to reduce the textures and keeping the details. That's a lot of work, and that you have to try different things and see, okay, this is what I need. And also you have to be very, very careful, because especially in textures like, for example, normal and ambient occlusion, if you want that for your character, then you have to pay attention that there are no issues or problems with your with the with your objects, because you're going to watch all of that. You're going to see all of the issues here in the texture, and that is going to not it's going to you're going to see that in the final result, and that is not going to be really good. So you have to be really careful with that part of the job. It is a lot of work. That's why you have with for AAA games and all of that things, you have a lot of people, and every artist is working on a single task, something like that. You're going to animate, you're going to sculpt, you're going to read topology, you're going to work on materials, and you just one single you're going to cover one single area. And in this case, that is really good. You have to focus only on that task, on one task. Okay, let me see here. I think that here I need to smooth this, and I see that this is like very weird, this part. Let me see. I think no. And also, how much time is an artist going to spend here, like polishing? That depends on the artist. For example, me, I always like to see and see again if I don't miss something. Yes, that's true. That's why you need a lot of patience here. Working on 3D. Let me. I like it, but I think that it is no. I need to smooth even more these corners. These corners are not good. Look. Let me find my. I already copy these parts of from the other hand. Let me see where are those. This one and this one. Okay. I already created that pieces for the other hand, so I just copy and move it here. Duplicate that. That's the right word. I want to rotate this in C. Okay, I think that we are good. Yes, it is looking really good, but the same problem than before. we need to move this hand and cover this part. Yes, yes. You will just create one finger. That's part of the process. That's part of the process. Also, when I explaining things, okay, let me see my finger here. Yes, I have to change this. Again, I am going to just select these parts. No, no, I don't do that. I just at the end just clean the model when I mix, when I merge everything, all the pieces that I want. I just clean with an atom and start looking at the overlapping faces and all of that. Also, in this case, the red topology are going to be on these parts here, here, and here. The armor, no, there is no need for the red topology because this is modeling. Look, this is not a sculpting. Look, this is modeling. I have applied all the modifiers here. Look, there is this is modeling. Modeling, all of this is model. The weapon, all of that, all the pieces here on the boots. Modeling, modeling, modeling. This is hard surface modeling. Yes, I like to do that. I always like to create 4 edges on the. I don't like triangles. I know that there is, for example, if you want to create for games, you need to do. I don't remember the word, but like to apply the process and reduce a lot of polygons your original design, but keeping the same textures. And you're going to have a lot of weird faces and triangles, but that is okay because those pieces are not going to move. But to practice, I always like to keep this with 4 edges. You can see 4 edges. I never use triangles, never. I don't like triangles. But remember that if you need triangles on pieces, for example, the weapon is not going to move. I mean, you're going to move the weapon, but the weapon is not going to deform, like here is going to blend, like no, the weapon is a solid piece. So here, in this kind of things, you can have triangles, because you're not going to add bones and rig that. But I like to practice and always, as you can see here, 4 edges, 4 edges, 4 edges for everything. Even for these pieces, 4 edges, 4 edges, 4 edges, 4 edges. You can see. Look, this is not a UV sphere. I use a cube and apply modifiers and make it a perfect sphere and just divide that. Okay, let's continue. This is a weird sphere. I have to move this one. Okay, I think that I have all the deformations that I want for this finger, and then I have to join and start smoothing. Okay, let's do that. So as you can see, I always press save, save, save. Dun, 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 dun. Let me see just a moment the music. Ah, we are good, we're good. Yesterday I had copyright issues because I didn't pay attention to the music. Okay, again, the value that I already know. Remember, I use this value because that worked for me for this finger. Maybe you are going to need another value. Don't try to copy this because I do this. That's also something that are not good in some time lapses or tutorials, because when people are just starting, they try to copy everything here, but they don't understand. That happened to me, so you need to understand. Yes, so you need to understand that. Don't try to copy exactly. I am explaining already that I use this value for remesh because I look here at the faces and I understand that these faces work for me. Look, it is a great topology, so I need something like these faces, and in previous videos I already test a lot of values, that a value that goes near to this value here that I already have, and I say that this 0.01 is the one that I need. In this case you can see that maybe I can use it, but if I see that is 130, almost half the value, then I can start reducing by a step, a little, changing this value until I get the 200 that I want. In this case there's no need to add more topology because it is looking good, as you can see. And maybe we can need a little bit more because I'm going to add more details. Let me see very quickly here. Let me use this, for example. Yes, maybe we're going to need a little bit more of topology, so let me start playing here with these values. Let me save before. Let me use 0.01, 0.009. Let's try with this one. Also, let me go back. Okay, let me try this one. Another 0.008. And yes, 0.008 in this case. So what is this? This is a new brush. Let me see this one. That is a new brush. I have to check this Blender 4.4 because I just installed it, but I never checked the new things that are here in the new version. Okay, let me crease polish, crease sharp. Let me try this one. Okay, look, we can do something like that. Okay, that's good to know. Let's return to my original. Again, I don't know why I always do this. All transforms. Okay, and we can start working. Let me save. Let's start polishing, smoothing all of these details. Let me just grab. I think that for this project I am going to use alphas for this kind of details. I never show you how to use that, and I think that In this project you're going to see for the first time how I use alphas, in this case for 3D modeling. You can use alphas as I already showed you yesterday for 3D modeling, for material, for textures. Also, those kind of details, the lines and all of these things, and also these lines, because as you can see on my fingers, I didn't add this kind of details. I am going to add that at the end. I am saving that for the last part of the costume, when I am going to start looking the whole model again and see if I miss some details. This was not very good. I have to smooth a lot. And no, I don't have. I said that I don't do retopology, but I have an add-on. I use an add-on to check how good is my model. That add-on is going to analyze if I have overlapping faces, intersections, and all those kind of things that are going to be a problem when you try to 3D printing the 3D printing process. So that add-on is going to help me check those issues. But no, I don't have an add-on. The best add-on is the quad remesh. I don't know. You have to pay for that. It is really good. I think that in ZBrush you have that as an integrated tool. Or maybe here, I don't check, maybe in ZBrush, in here in Blender, the tool that you already have to do the retopology is improved. I don't know. I have to check that. But to do like that kind of retopology uh, with an add-on with a tool, you can use this one. Let me check. I don't remember this Voxel Remesh. You press quad and then adjust the settings and then Voxel Remesh. That is going to create a, let's say, a cleaner version from your previous file, from your previous object. Yes, yes, I think that you are talking about this one, because when you do this, that is going to generate a new mesh with better uh, polygons, but in a lot of occasions there are some special areas that the topology, the tool didn't work well, and you're going to have like a small faces, and you have to erase that and then join that again. You have to polish to check again, and then you have to, and that only works here for 3D modeling, because no, for 3D sculpting, because for 3D modeling, that that topology, I think that is not going to help you a lot. That topology is not good for me. I try different uh, times, and I don't like this tool, the result of that. I prefer to do retopology by myself, because also there is also something that you need to consider. Let me show you this model that I created, uh, a female mesh that I create. Look here. I create this and upload that for to my online stores. I create this base model for female bodies. You can see here the color lines. These are like the flow, let's call it like that, that is going to help you to create good animations. When you do retopology, you have to consider the spatial areas that your mesh is going to deform like a lot, and you have to keep that in mind to do the retopology. There is not only that you have to fill this with polygons. No, you have to say, okay, I am going to have movements here in my face, and this is going to follow this movement. Okay, so I have to find a way to connect these polygons in this way, and the colors shows you the the way that these polygons are, the area, how the area is going to work, and this is going to help you with your animation. When you do retopology, you have to consider that. And again, there is not perfect topology, but this model that I created, I think that is a really good example or reference, if you want to call it like that. I try different. This is not like I wake up one day and say, okay, I'm going to do retopology book and create this. No, I look for other artists. I try. I keep parts from one artist, then I use another parts for other artist. I saw that artist used triangles. I don't like that, and I replace that with polygons with 4 edges, and they say, okay, and I have to connect that. Here, for example, I think that I create this all by myself, because the neck is not going to deform like a lot. Just going to rotate and move up and down, but it is not going to be like a weird deformation. So here I think that I create this by myself, trying to, because here I think that here and in the ear you find a lot of triangles from another artist, and that is okay. I already told you. In some areas you're going to have triangles because you're not going to move that. That's okay. Here. Okay, so the music stopped, and that means that I'll go for some water. Okay, I'll be back in a moment. In 2 minutes or 1 minute. I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. Let's continue. I know what you mean, but not the auto. There was an add-on a long time ago that I. Ah, no, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know about that one. But if you have it, then use it. I mean, if you find that again, use it. Just try to keep in mind what I already told you, because maybe the add-on is not perfect at all. I mean, it's going to do a very, very, very great job, but maybe you have to at least adjust something. That happens a lot. Okay, let's check. I think that it is looking good, but I miss a very important detail here. The add-on that I use for 3D printing to check. Pay attention to this. The add-on is called, let me see. Oh, it is not here. I think that I have to install it again. Just it is not here. I have to install it again. I don't remember the name of the add-on. It was something like 3D. I don't remember. I don't know. It is here. It is here. Look, it is 3D print. Because it is not showing me because I was in a scope mode. The add-on that I told you that I use for analyze is this called 3D print, and I just press check, and depending on the level of topology that you have on your model, it is going to take some time, also depending on your machine, your PC. And you have this button here that called make manifold, that is going to, in theory, like fix all the problems, issues in their model. But no, don't do this. Believe me, it is going to, if in models like this one, this is not going to help you. It's going to make your mesh worse. So don't do that. Just press check all and try to locate, try to find where are the issues, because this is going to show you, okay, you have an issue here, you have an issue there, you have an overlapping face there, you miss, there is you don't have you have to close this, you have a gap here. Here is going to show you all of the problems that you have. So you just press check and then start one by one polishing all the issues. And believe me, it is a good help, because here you're not going to find never. Maybe you're going to find some, but you're going to miss a lot of things. With this, you're not going to miss anything, but you have to do manually all the fixing. The add-on, I don't think it was wet or flow, but as you say, it may be good, but unless you know how to create. Yes, you have to understand. When you use add-ons, it's not like, okay, I just press that button and that create me the thing that I want, as I saw as I watched in the video. No. You have to understand why you are using that and why you need to use that. Okay, I was saying that I missed the formation here at the base, and let me try to add that. this is going to be really a problem when I have to change a lot here when I prepare the model for 3D print, because these gaps are not good. Maybe I'm going to move it close to the other finger. To avoid those issues. Yes, it is better to move it and avoid those kind of things that is going to cause problems in the future. For 3D printing, for 3D rendering, you don't have to worry about this. I am thinking also maybe I just prepare this for 3D printing and for 3D rendering, and don't do that for 3D printing. It is a lot of work. And as I told you also, this is another thing. It makes no sense for me to prepare this for 3D printing because I don't have a 3D printer. And when you print something, you're going to do it in your way. In most of the cases, you're not going to use the one that I provide to you unless I already show you how is the final result. And even with that, maybe you have a better printer or a not good printer and you need to divide the model in different ways. So all the work that I do for 3D printing, the after the rendering, is for nothing, just for me to practice. So that's something that also maybe I have to consider, but I think that I want to provide with something that for the people to see, okay, it looks good in that way. But in most of the cases, you are not going to use the one that I gave you. Yes. When you print something, you need to know also other things. Not only you have to consider the brand of your printer, the dimensions of the space that you're going to print the pieces, the material that you're going to use, and the settings that I don't remember. You have to change how to use some kind. That is also something about the 3D printer. You have to know really good your 3D printer, and then you have to decide, okay, because I have this 3D printer, I have to, in this case, if I want to print this, maybe my printer is not that good with this kind of details, I have to make a lot of cuts. So you have to divide the model a lot and all of that. Or maybe I want to create a huge model, and so I want to divide a hand, the arm, and make the cuts. And after you print, because also that's also something that you have to consider. After you print, maybe because something happened in the process, but something that you cannot control. Maybe in some part it is not looking good, but that is not your fault. But it is not a big issue, but it is going to affect the how your model is looking. So you have to use another materials. I don't know the names about those materials in English, but to cover, like you put that here, and then you have to cover with that material, and then you have to polish with the other thing that you use to smooth surfaces. I don't know the name of that in English. The thing that you work in when you are working with wood, but for this material, in this case plastic, I don't know the resin, the material that you are using, and you have to clean and try to polish your models like that. That's also part of the 3D printing process. So there is not like you, okay, I'm going to print, and then you just join pack the pieces that you printed. With this kind of models, that is not going to happen. It is going to be a very difficult process that you have to be really careful. That's why maybe these kind of models cost more money, especially when you print that and you do the whole job. Like, let's say that you are asking me for doing this. There is no way, and only for modeling, there is no way that I will charge you for this like less than $500 if you want this exclusively for you, because you can see all the work here. And let's say that I'm going to print this even, so and $500 I think that this is I think that I have to charge more. But also, let's not consider the time that I'm using here, because here I just use the 2 hours that we use for the streaming. I'm going to finish this in less time, because I'm going to start working only for this. So, but something like that. Okay, I think that you understand. And the painting process, that is also another process that you have to consider. Special what's the name of that you use to paint, or special materials that you want to use for the model, all of that. Also, let's say that you divide you have a cut here. Let's say that I don't make a cut here, and there is no way that I create an armor here. So, but you want a bigger model and you want a cut here, so you made a cut here. And when you print and when you join, everything is looking good, but you are going to see that division, that you are going to say, I don't like that division, because this is supposed to be like the leg with no divisions. And you have again to use the material that I already told you to clean that, and then to polish with the other material that I don't remember the name. And then it is going to look like this is a full part. That's also part of the process. So when I create this for 3D printing, I like to make the divisions on the parts that you can see. For example, here, the boot, I want to create here a division. So you're not going to notice that division because I made a cut here, so it is a different piece. I like to do that. But as you can see, how you're going to divide this here, because there are ways here with 3D sculpting, but I tried that and I don't like. I prefer to create presets from zero and follow the shape here, and then just play with booleans, with the modifiers, and divide the model, and then apply the merge again. I like to do that. There is not maybe a good workflow, but for me it works. It works for me. But it is a lot of work, so that's also something that you want to keep in mind. Okay, let's move the final part here for the finger. So that's the whole process, my friend. If you want that for your collection, it would be a great. But look, at the end you're going to have this in your desk. I don't know, something like this, and I think that it is a great part, a great piece for a collection, for someone that likes to collect figures and all those kind of stuff. So in some cases you just go to a business that have 3D printers, and then you just tell, okay, here's the file, please print this for me. I don't have the printer, and if I have it, I am not going to do that kind of work. So please do it for me. Yes, you can do that too. And then you can paint it. And you can show the painting process, streaming the painting process, like people do with Warhammer models. I see a lot of people doing that, and that's a good hobby. I wish I can do that with my own creations, but I don't have a 3D printer, and I want a 3D printer, but a resin printer. to create these kind of things. But I think that printers are very expensive. Yes. You know now why that people spend a lot of money. But you create things for that people. You have an industry, and also I don't know that process, but you can create how can I say this? You print the pieces and you take that for a toys factory, something like that, and then create like how do you say that? Like the mold? I don't know if that is the word, but create the shape into some pieces and then just create a lot of pieces, and that is cheaper. That is that is not 3D printing. That is a traditional way to create toys, but you create the original piece. So that is also yes for mass production. Thank you for that. So in that case, you were creating that. I knew when I was starting, I saw a lot of examples of people that trying to create made this for a living, 3D printing for a living. They create their own business, and it was really good, but I think that it was very expensive. I don't know if they continue with the business because that was like more than 5 years ago. Yes, I knew about those when I was just starting. Also, I knew an artist that was from my country, but he lives in New York, and he creates, and he draw or he creates the 3D printing. No, he used drawings from comic artists from the Marvel and DC. I don't remember, but he used. I don't know if he uses he works for Marvel or DC, but he has comics. Okay, so they use the drawings from other artists. That was part of his job. He creates those drawings on 3D, and it was something like this. Very detailed, realistic models that's the things that you see when you go to those conventions, when the Comic-Con, those kind of things, and you see the models, the figures. Okay, he create that for that kind of events, and for collectionist, I think that's the word, and he do a very good job. Yes, that's also something that you have to consider. So to continue with the other example, that people that I didn't know in person, but I saw some videos. They try to create original characters. It was like a line of dinosaurs, so something like that, little monsters. There was their own creations, and it was not only 3D printed. It was they create the 3D models, so when you scan a QR code, something like that, you can play with the character, with the little monster, and you will have like the figure, like when you go and buy like cards, like the Funko Pops. They create her own toys, their own original toys, and it was a really good idea. I don't know if they continue with the business because that is I don't know. It was a very good idea, but for example here in my country that is impossible to do. But in the USA I think that you have an industry for that, so you are not going to have problems with that. But I said, okay, I want to try that here in my country, but for different reasons I stopped doing 3D, and I already told you that story. But that's why I started on the 3D industry, sculpting and all of that, because I said, okay, I'm going to do something like that here. but most of the models that you saw on the Comic Cons and those kind of events, they are made from artists that they sculpt. Also, not only figures, they also create, for example, the last the game, the Doom Dark Ages. I saw a video. I watched a video of an artist that she creates costumes in real size. For example, if she's going to, she creates from the original, from the company. For example, in this case, I think that Bethesda is the name of the company that created the Doom Dark Ages. So Bethesda called her and say, I want that in the real size, the Doom costume. So she creates bigger pieces for people that do cosplay to use the costume. She print that. Okay, so you know what I am talking about. So there is also another industry for that, and they make a lot of money. I mean, not like millionaires though, but they make good money with that, because you have an industry. If you have people, you have customers, then you're going to sell that. But also that was something, for example, that is something that I will not do, because I can see that there is a lot of work. Maybe I will try, but it is a very difficult work. Print this in real size with different materials, and then paint, and then start polishing that, and try to join and play with different things. It is a lot of work. She just received the original print 3D sculpture on a ZBrush file, and then she started like say, okay, I have to make a cut here, okay, I have to divide this here, and she decides all the how that is the right way, because if you have a printer, as I already told you, you know what you're going to do. If there is something that maybe I am not no, but I'm going to continue doing that, providing you with the STL file of the example that I show you. I think that's part of the process, and I'm going to practice for one day. When I have my 3D printer, I can create all of this. Maybe I'm going to show you here streamings painting my own figures. Okay, so we finish with this. I think that I need to make this to be I have to change this, because these gaps here are good. These kind of things, this gap is looking good, there is no problem, but for 3D printing this is going to be a nightmare. So let me try to find a way to make this even I don't know. All of my characters. What I create here is what I would like to have here. All of my characters. I want to create all of my characters. I want to print all of my characters. But for example, maybe a special character that I would like to create first, maybe the Goku, because I like Dragon Ball. That's my favorite animated show since I was a kid. Also the Pokemons and the Digimon. I like Digimon. I don't know why people don't remember Digimon or don't like Digimon, but when I was a kid, that was a very, very great show. Even I like more Digimon than Pokemon. Also, I don't know where are you from, but I don't understand why more of the anime they were not like good. They don't have like good reception. They didn't have good reception on the US, but here in Latin America we have a lot. What boat? I don't remember that. here in Latin America, all the anime, the Japanese stuff was very very famous here, and all the series had a lot of people here watching that. But in the US, I understand that they like to create their own versions, and they they are not as good as the Japanese. Ah, okay, okay. You never saw that show. You should watch it. But I mean, when I was born, Dragon Ball already finished, all the episodes and all the seasons already were complete. So when I started watching the show, it was like an ancient show for me, because it was from the 80s, I think, and I am not from the 80s. I am from the 90s. But and also I like more Dragon Ball. How do you say it in English? In Spanish is Dragon Ball Z, the one from when Goku is a man and she's not more kid, and the Super Saiyan and all of that things. That was my favorite part. I have to find a way to join this, because I already told you that this is going to be a really big problem when I want to create this. Yes. I really enjoy watching those series. Also, I don't have like the paid TV. I don't know how you call it. I just watch in the local channels when they want to show to put the show. So I was like repeating all the episodes again and again and again. Okay, now this is joined and it is looking good. Now I will not have problems. Okay, maybe here when I want to create this for 3D printing. Let me change this a little bit. Yes, and also in my city, in the place where I live, we don't have internet until 2006, I think. Yes, I don't have internet in the place where I live until that year. So I have to go to a cyber, or maybe only at the school, or maybe to the house of a cousin or something like that, to try to see something on internet. That's when I started like playing games on PC. I remember that I loved to play Prince of Persia and Age of Empires. Those were and Doom 3, the one that I played here on streaming. Those games were the ones that I played. And when I was in high school, there was this new game at that time that was World of Warcraft. I don't know if you know about that one. And all the people were playing that thing. Yes, I remember that. That's why I like Doom 3 playing that again, because I remember my childhood. And I really enjoy World of Warcraft. I remember with my friends playing online. Okay. We have a pirate server. I don't know if I can say this on YouTube. I didn't pay for playing the game. I don't know where they get that, and we play for free. We play the the Burning Crusade and the Ward of the Lich King, I think was the name of those games. We played on a server for free, online with all the stuff. We never spent any dollar on that. That's why I like it, because if we have to pay, nah, I will never pay for playing that. Yes, it was something. I think that the server was from Spain. I don't remember very well. But then with the next expansion, I think that they discovered like the server, and the new expansions, the Pandarian expansion, I think that the server cannot upgrade to the new game, and they continue with the Lich King, and I stopped playing. That time I stopped playing games. I was playing the Facebook games. Ah, yes. Those also were great games. Warcraft 3, and there was two games, right? But the one that I play a lot was Age of Empires. Also, there was another game that I don't remember the name. Yes. I remember that when I started playing World of Warcraft and Warcraft, all of those kind of Age of Empires, Age of Mythology, all those games, I used to create my own original characters. I used to draw that on high school. I remember drawing, creating with a friend. We both gave ideas for the costume and the weapons. Maybe one day I will create here one of my original characters that I create. I used to read a lot about history, about mythology. I like that stuff. I had a lot of books about that. Also, I created an original game with cards that I was playing with my friends. I draw all the cards and we played that. But I don't find a way to try to make it a game here on mobile or PC, because that work on physical cards, but the rules were not very clear. Yes, I really like all those kind of things. Okay, I think that we finished this. Look, it is looking great. Yes, it is looking great. So also I think that, we are 2 hours to go to finish the other model. So okay, we finished the main fingers, just 2 fingers in 2 hours. That's a lot of time, but okay, don't worry, we spend a lot of time here talking about different things and explaining things, and that's what matters. Okay, so now we're going to be a little more faster, because now we have to finish this finger too, and now I have to start keeping to duplicating these details and just moving that in the right place. This is going to be a little bit difficult too. This part. These are solid pieces, so this is not going to change. All of these parts are not going to change. It's going to remain the same. I just have to find the right way to place that here. That's the only challenging part about that. And then we just have to, this part is going to be a little bit difficult. The zipper also, look, this detail here, this is going to be a little bit difficult to do. But I think that we are going to do a good job. And just going step by step and learning here and see how we can do things. And don't worry, that's how we do everything here. Okay, so I think that I'm going to use this as for this thumbnail. something like that. Let me try to find another hand. Maybe this one. For the thumbnail, this is for the thumbnail, to have something different. Okay, very good. Okay, friends, so this is all for today. Yes, we're going to continue tomorrow. I have to finish the other project. I don't know when I'm going to discover the solution for the issue that I'm having with the other problem to make it perfect. As always, I try to do things, but I'm going to figure that out, and I think that I'm going to create a video sharing the solution and the solution that I found, that is going to make you, one day you're going to face that, so you're going to have the solution. Okay, so please remember, if you are new, subscribe to the channel, give it a like, share this content with others, leave a comment below, and if you want, you can join to our Discord server. Please follow me on my social media accounts, X, Instagram and Twitter, X, TikTok and Instagram, where I am uploading my portfolio and things about 3D and games. If you want me to collaborate with your project as a freelancer, you can contact me, there's my email there. And if you want figures like this one for your collection, or assets for your games or animations, you can get that on my online stores. Turbo Squid for 3D modeling, Cost 3D for 3D sculpting, and CG Trader, where you find everything. Okay, and that's all. Thanks for coming today. Thanks for all the people that was here on the chat. Thanks for the community that always watch here my content. We are growing step by step, but we are growing. We're so close to reach the first goal. We just need 900 more views and 40 more subscribers to reach the first goal of the YouTube channel monetization process. Then we have to reach the other goal, but step by step. So we're so close. Please, I need your help. Just subscribe, and if you like, watch the content, or maybe write a feedback of what would you like for me to improve here. And that's all. Thanks for coming. Please remember to subscribe, and see you in the next one.